Right now, wherever you happen to be sitting, I want you to try something for a moment. Just look backwards through your life. Think about the winding, unpredictable, and sometimes deeply painful roads that have led you to this exact second in time. Consider the unexpected detours, the sudden endings, the heartbreaks that felt like the end of the world, and the spontaneous decisions that changed everything in the blink of an eye. When we are living through these moments, it often feels like we are stumbling through a dark forest without a compass, entirely at the mercy of chaotic forces that we cannot control. It feels like chaos, a terrifying randomness that leaves us feeling lost, anxious, and burdened with the heavy fear that we have somehow made the wrong choice, taken the wrong turn, or failed to arrive at the destination we were always meant to reach. But as you look back now, from the vantage point of the present, you might begin to notice something truly fascinating and perhaps a little unsettling. You might begin to trace a hidden pattern in the seemingly random events of your past. Those painful failures, those humiliating rejections, those agonizing periods of uncertainty, they no longer look like isolated tragedies. Instead, they appear as necessary stepping stones, intricately connected pieces of a grander puzzle that you could not possibly have comprehended while you were in the midst of it. This profound realization, this sudden shift in perspective that gives you goosebumps, is exactly what the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung spent his entire life trying to understand and articulate. Jung believed that what we so often call destiny or fate is not some external, magical force imposed upon us by a distant universe, but rather the profound and largely unrecognized workings of our own deeper psyche. He famously wrote that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This single sentence holds the key to understanding the mystery of your own existence and the true nature of your personal destiny. Think about it this way. The conscious mind, the part of you that makes plans, sets goals, and worries about the future, is only the tiny, visible tip of a massive psychological iceberg. Beneath the surface of your everyday awareness lies the vast, unfathomable ocean of the unconscious, a realm teeming with hidden desires, forgotten memories, ancient archetypes, and a profound, innate wisdom that knows exactly what you need to become whole. When your conscious ego becomes too rigid, too fixated on a specific map of how your life is supposed to look, it often loses touch with this deeper, guiding intelligence. You might insist on pursuing a particular career, holding on to a specific relationship, or clinging to a certain identity because society, your family, or your own fears have convinced you that this is the only way to be successful and secure. But if this conscious plan is out of alignment with the true needs of your deeper self, the unconscious will begin to rebel. It will orchestrate circumstances, engineer crises, and manifest obstacles that force you off your carefully constructed path. You will experience this as a painful disruption, a sudden loss, or a confusing failure. You might lose that job you thought you needed, or that relationship might suddenly fall apart, leaving you feeling entirely adrift and consumed by regret. In these moments of despair, you might ask yourself why this is happening to you, why the universe is punishing you, or what you did wrong to deserve such misfortune. But from the perspective of Jungian psychology, these disruptions are not punishments at all. They are profound acts of psychological course correction. The unconscious mind is stepping in, dismantling the false structures of your life, and steering you back toward your authentic path. It is breaking the map you were desperately trying to follow because that map was leading you away from your true destination. The anxiety you feel in these moments, the agonizing fear of the wrong turn, stems from the illusion that there is only one correct path and that you have somehow missed it. But the reality is that the map is not the territory. the maps we create in our minds are always oversimplified, based on limited information and driven by the ego's desperate need for control and predictability. When the map fails, it feels like the end of the world, but it is actually the beginning of a genuine encounter with reality. Imagine for a moment the simple act of walking. When you walk, you are essentially engaging in a process of controlled falling. You lean forward, lose your balance, and then catch yourself with your next step. Stumbling, falling, and losing your balance are not mistakes in the process of walking. They are the very mechanics of forward momentum. In the exact same way, the psychological stumbles, the periods of feeling lost, and the chaotic detours of your life are not deviations from your destiny. They are the intricate, dynamic movements required to navigate the complex terrain of your own soul. Jung called this lifelong journey of unfolding and becoming the process of individuation. Individuation is not about achieving perfection, finding endless happiness, or completely eliminating pain and struggle from your life. Rather, it is the deeply challenging and profoundly rewarding process of becoming whole, of integrating all the fragmented, hidden, and repressed parts of yourself into a cohesive, authentic unity. It requires you to face your shadow, to confront the dark, uncomfortable aspects of your personality that you would rather ignore, and to reclaim the vital energy that is trapped within them. It requires you to listen to the subtle whispers of your intuition, to pay attention to your dreams, and to remain open to the mysterious phenomenon that Jung called synchronicity. Synchronicities are those uncanny, meaningful coincidences that seem to defy logical explanation, those moments when the internal state of your mind perfectly mirrors an external event in the physical world. Perhaps you are thinking about an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly the phone rings and it is them. Or perhaps you are struggling with a difficult decision and you stumble upon a book, a conversation, or a piece of art that provides exactly the insight you need at exactly the right moment. These synchronicities are not mere random chance. They are the language of the unconscious, the subtle winks and nods from the universe indicating that you are aligned with the deeper flow of your destiny. They give you goosebumps because they briefly part the veil of everyday reality, revealing the profound interconnectedness of all things, and reminding you that you are not merely an isolated fragment floating through an indifferent cosmos, but an integral part of a vast, meaningful, and deeply intelligent web of existence. Recognizing the reality of the unconscious and the guiding power of individuation dramatically changes how you view your past, your present, and your future. It allows you to look back at your regrets and failures with a profound sense of compassion and understanding. You begin to see that you could not have acted any differently because you were operating with the level of consciousness you had at the time. The mistakes you made were necessary catalysts for your growth, the precise experiences required to crack open your rigid ego and allow the light of deeper awareness to enter. The heartbreak taught you empathy, the failure taught you resilience, and the periods of wandering taught you how to rely on your own inner compass rather than seeking external validation. Every single step, even the ones that felt like massive leaps backward, was secretly carrying you forward toward a greater state of wholeness. This realization offers immense relief from the crushing burden of existential anxiety. It frees you from the paralyzing fear that you must somehow figure everything out in advance, that you must maintain perfect control over your life, and that a single wrong choice will ruin your entire future. You begin to understand that you do not have to carry the weight of the world on your conscious shoulders. You can learn to trust the deeper wisdom of your psyche, to surrender to the mysterious process of your own unfolding, and to accept that the path of your destiny will rarely look the way your ego expects it to. It will be messier, more unpredictable, and infinitely more beautiful than anything you could have consciously planned. The feeling of being lost is not a sign that you have failed. It is a profound initiation into a deeper stage of your development. It is the necessary prerequisite for being found by your true self. When you find yourself in the dark wood of transition, when the old ways of living no longer work and the new way has not yet revealed itself, you must learn to tolerate the ambiguity. You must resist the urge to prematurely grab onto a new, false certainty just to relieve the discomfort of not knowing. Instead, you must allow the transformation to occur in its own time, trusting that the unconscious is silently working beneath the surface, weaving the threads of your experiences into a new and more expansive pattern of meaning. Destiny, therefore, is not a predetermined destination waiting for you at the end of a long and arduous road. It is not a fixed point in the future that you must somehow strive to reach. Destiny is the very act of walking itself. It is the courage to put one foot in front of the other, to stumble, to fall, to get back up, and to continue moving forward with an open heart and a willing spirit. It is the continuous, dynamic dialogue between your conscious mind and your unconscious depths. It is the profound acceptance of your own unique journey with all its chaotic detours, painful losses, and terrifying uncertainties. When you fully embrace this perspective, the fear of making the wrong choice begins to dissolve, replaced by a deep, abiding trust in the wisdom of your own soul. You realize that there are no truly wrong turns, only different landscapes to explore and different lessons to learn. You begin to experience a profound sense of awe and reverence for the mystery of your own life, recognizing that every moment, every encounter, and every challenge is a sacred opportunity for growth and self-discovery. This is the profound comfort and the transformative power of Carl Jung's vision. It reminds us that we are never truly alone, never truly abandoned to the random chaos of a meaningless universe. We are always being guided, supported, and gently nudged toward our ultimate wholeness by the invisible hand of our own deeper nature. The present moment, right here and right now, with whatever struggles, doubts, or anxieties you may be facing, is not an obstacle on your path. It is the path itself. It is exactly where you are meant to be, the precise crucible in which the alchemy of your transformation is taking place. As you continue to reflect on this, consider how often you have fought against the current of your own life, desperately swimming upstream against the powerful tide of your own unconscious calling. We expend so much vital energy trying to force our lives into the narrow, restrictive boxes that we have constructed in our minds, entirely ignoring the vast, expansive landscapes that the soul is inviting us to explore. We cling to jobs that drain our spirits, relationships that stifle our growth, and identities that no longer fit us, all because we are terrified of the unknown void that exists outside of our familiar maps. But Jung taught us that the void is not empty, it is pregnant with infinite possibility. The darkness of the unknown is the very fertile soil from which new life, new meaning, and new destiny emerge. When we finally exhaust ourselves from fighting the current, when we finally surrender our fierce grip on the illusion of control, we do not drown. Instead, we are caught by the deep, buoyant waters of the self, and we begin to float downstream, carried by a wisdom that is infinitely older and wiser than our conscious intellect. This process of surrender is not passive resignation. It is the highest form of spiritual courage. It is the active willingness to listen to the quiet, persistent voice within, the voice that speaks through your dreams, your sudden bursts of inspiration, your inexplicable aversions, and your deepest, most unarticulated longings. To walk the path of individuation is to honor this voice above the loud, demanding clamor of the external world. It is to recognize that your life is a sacred experiment, an entirely unique manifestation of the universe trying to understand itself through your specific set of experiences, challenges, and triumphs. No one else can walk your path, and no one else can fulfill your destiny, because your destiny is inextricably woven into the exact fabric of who you are, including your flaws, your neuroses, your past traumas, and your deepest wounds. In fact, Jung believed that our deepest wounds often contain the very seeds of our greatest gifts. The places where we have been broken, the areas of our lives where we feel the most shame and inadequacy, are precisely the locations where the light of consciousness can enter most profoundly. As we bring awareness to these dark corners of our psyche, as we shine the light of acceptance and compassion onto our shadow, we begin a process of psychological alchemy, transmuting the lead of our suffering into the gold of wisdom, empathy, and profound self-awareness. This is why the chaotic, painful, and humiliating experiences of your past were not meaningless accidents. They were the intense heat and pressure required by the alchemical furnace of your soul to forge you into the person you are becoming today. Without the pain, there would be no transformation. Without the wandering, there would be no discovery. Without the illusion of being entirely lost, there would be no joyous revelation of being profoundly found. So, as you look backward through your life right now, let the anxiety of the wrong turn completely wash away. Let the heavy burden of regret gently slip from your shoulders. See your life not as a series of random, disconnected events, but as a beautiful, intricate tapestry that is still being woven, thread by thread, by the masterful hands of your own deeper self. Every mistake was a lesson, every detour was a revelation, and every heartbreak was a necessary expansion of your capacity to love and understand. You are not behind in life. You have not missed your chance. You have not failed to reach your destiny, because your destiny is unfolding right here in this very moment as you listen to these words and feel the resonance of truth echoing within your own heart. The goosebumps you feel are the physical manifestation of your soul recognizing its own profound journey. It is the thrilling, awe-inspiring realization that you are participating in a divine mystery, a cosmic dance of consciousness that is far more magnificent than anything the ego could ever orchestrate. Embrace the uncertainty, lean into the mystery, and trust the magnificent unfolding story of your own life. If you found something meaningful in this reflection, take a moment to like the video so more people can discover it. And if you're interested in exploring more ideas that challenge the way you see yourself and the world, consider subscribing to the channel.